Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinokami Chronicles is making its way onto the Nintendo Switch, but the game is also available on PC as well as PlayStation and Xbox consoles. This being a direct port of those entries, first I want to focus on what Switch fans can expect in a direct comparison from those versions, and then I'll talk about how this game shapes up for just about anyone ready to finally delve into this amazing anime story. The Nintendo Switch version, simply put, runs at native resolution both docked and in handheld at 30 frames per second. You can also expect to see some draw distance limitations and lesser foliage with cutback post-processing in a direct contrast to the PlayStation 5, Series X, and PC versions, which also happen to run at 60 frames per second. And while that may sound like a bit of a bummer, it's still a rather impressive port for an already fantastic game that you can also rest easily knowing that the previously available DLC to all of those console versions is also available on the Nintendo Switch on day one, included free of charge. On top of that, paid DLC will also be coming available, introducing the Entertainment District art, which is on the way to make this an even beefier entry. Simply put, the Nintendo Switch version is an excellent entry like the Naruto Storm 4 was back in the day when it released, and is definitely the definitive edition of the game. Now, for those new to not just this franchise but this game as well, you should also know that this is a complete experience. Other than the aforementioned graphical cutbacks, this is the full game and then some. You'll have a story mode that showcases the full tale up until the Mugen Train arc. Everything is divided up neatly into chapters, just like the Storm Gates were, where you are ranked once you finish each one of them, as they culminate into a massively huge battle that introduces a new fighter once you defeat them. There's a roster of 24 fighters that, when it's all said and done, each one feels rather unique and fully realized to match their anime counterparts. Versus mode is your typical you versus the CPU affair with many difficulty parameters to tweak, alongside the online mode, where you'll be taking on the bulk of the game experience once you unlock and finish up the story mode. Supplementing both the story and the versus mode are the rewards and archives modes. Rewards are unlocked via missions or story mode or even versus rewards. Basically, the more fights you have, the more rewards you get via Kimetsu points. These are the game's only currency. And then the archive will showcase all of your accomplishments thus far. It's a pretty clean-cut set of modes that don't overcomplicate things and keep things rather simple and effective. The 3D arena fights are exactly as you would have expected them as a Naruto Storm player like myself, which feel almost like a deja vu experience playing some of these fights. Movements feels very similar with light and heavy combos, special attacks, all culminating with a flashy ultimate move finisher with a bombastic cutscene just like you would have expected. These of course are the highlights of the visual moments of the game, even on the Nintendo Switch. Everything looks amazing on the Nintendo Switch OLED screen, and even when I tested it in a handheld mode on the Nintendo Switch Lite, it holds up rather well. The dance-off of the two fighters online trying to outdo each other and trick one into another into a combo cancel should be something that we're all pretty much familiar with at this point in time, which is also working like a charm. As someone who had never watched the anime nor played the previous releases of the other consoles of this specific game, it hit me by surprise just how much fun it was to play, but also to see what all the fan hype was all about. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinokami Chronicles isn't really reinventing the fighting game wheel, and it doesn't have to. It's built almost on a decade plus of amazing Naruto games, and it takes the best of those entries and builds up upon them with flashy visuals, solid performances both docked and in handheld, and an intriguing anime tale that's far from being over. Nintendo Sphere gives Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba The Hinokami Chronicles on the Nintendo Switch an 8 out of 10. If you're brand new to my channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Hit the bell to receive notifications when the videos go up, and as always, thank you so much for watching. See ya!